Have you heard what's going on with the Wicked cast? Aside from a sprinkling of drama, there have been some major PR missteps that have created a really weird vibe around the release of this movie and the cast members themselves. Hi everybody, I'm Beebs Kelley. Welcome back to another video. Please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. Click the like button and leave a comment only if you want to. If you don't know what to comment, leave #Wicked. So the only people who have not been completely inundated by the tidal wave of Wicked PR and merchandise and posters and clips and everything, those living under a rock or completely off grid. There's no denying that this is one of the hardest pushed movies we have seen in a long time. PR campaign for Wicked is massive. Just so much. There is so much merch, so many PR stunts, so many interviews, so many clips and teasers, just so much of everything. And for people like myself who are not like super fans, it feels a bit much, maybe a little overwhelming, a little too in your face. At the same time though, like I totally get it. If there's a big release that you're very excited about, then it is a big deal. So don't get me wrong, there's no shame in being a big fan of something. But looking objectively, it's clear that a lot of the manufactured hype around this movie has been done to cover up the mistakes that the cast have made that created this really shaky PR ground. It's as if this movie is on eggshells. A lot of this PR stunts and stuff is so over the top that it really does feel like it's designed to grab the headlines, to flood the algorithms with different things, misdirection, which leaves you wondering, what are they trying to hide? So this movie has been in development for at least 8 years. It's a film adaptation of the Broadway show, if you're not familiar with it, and it's a musical. And like any adaptation, be it from books or plays, it's not going to make everyone happy. This even happened with like Harry Potter, for example. Super successful film franchise, adapted from book to movie, and a lot of fans still complained and didn't like certain elements of the film where they had changed details or fudged the storylines a little bit or things like that. It's totally normal. Like you have to do that when you're turning something into a movie. It cannot be the exact same because it's a different format. And Wicked has a really big and very passionate fan base. But this drama has been bubbling for over a year and had nothing to do with the actual content of the film because it just came out. All of this stuff happened before the release. So it's not about the content of the movie per se that has caused such a ruckus. Let's begin with Cynthia Erivo, shall we? She created a full-blown PR crisis because she overreacted really negatively to some fan art. What would possess a movie star to do such a thing? Why, pray tell? Would she even care? I looked into it because it sounded like a gross overreaction, but I always give benefit of doubt. And for me, somebody who's unfamiliar with Wicked, like I never saw the show, this looked fine to me. It's just a movie poster, whatever. But some fans were disappointed that it wasn't more like the original Broadway poster, which looked like this. Or at least they were inspired. And so some fans, as fans will do, made some fan art. It's a thing that people like to do when they're excited about stuff and inspired by things. People always do this, and sometimes it's really, really awesome. There has been some truly wonderful fan art that I've seen, some hilarious versions made that are just really great, good times, and express people's love for a movie or characters or things like that. But this person, they edited the poster to look just like the original, which is this. So, no big deal. This is the fan art, and as you can see, it's obviously just a rendition of the original, but with the movie cast. No big deal, right? And as fan art goes, it's a good idea. It's not necessarily the highest quality, but that's okay. It seems like a good idea. It's whatever. It's just one of those things that could be either flattering for the actors or just like ignored because whatever. People do this all the time, no big deal. But Cynthia had a full-blown tantrum over this. Here is exactly what she said. This is the wildest, most offensive thing I have seen. Well, then she has not been looking around. Equal to that awful AI of us fighting. How? How is this equal to an AI of you fighting with your cast member or arguing with your cast member? That seems way worse. and way more like misinformation. I mean, this is clearly very edited. It's not that great of quality is what I'm saying. Like, it's obvious that this has been changed. It's not like anybody would mistake it for the real poster or something. Not that she's the one who made the real poster anyway. That was some graphic artists and stuff like that. Anyway, she says it's equal to people posing a question that's inappropriate. I disagree completely. How is this image anywhere near equal to something inappropriate for, even YouTube to talk about? It's not. Very irrational and out of touch. None of this is funny. None of it is cute. It degrades me. It degrades us. How is it degrading? This makes no sense. The original poster is an illustration. I am a real-life human being who chose to look right down the barrel of the camera to you, the viewer, because without words we communicate with our eyes. True, but this is supposed to be fun. Our poster is an homage, not an imitation. To edit my face and hide my eyes is to erase me, and that is just deeply hurtful. Well, think about the hurt that she caused the artist to have somebody like a celebrity, a movie star, to a movie that they were clearly very excited to see, that they spent their time making this poster because they were inspired and so excited for the movie. Obviously, it was a fan who made this. I am not a fan. I wouldn't have even known about this if it weren't for her reaction. My goodness. That fan was deeply hurt, I'm sure, by Cynthia's over-the-top reaction. Do not erase my eyes. You're erasing me. Get over it. This is a character that you're playing. This is ridiculous. But let's read some reactions from the internet. She's giving peasants shall not mess with my movie poster with my face vibes. Yeah, she is. Pretty sure she missed the point. Does she not see the artistic representation of this? Yeah, it's like, hey, look at it. What if we made this poster more like the original, which was a big hit? And if it weren't for the original Broadway show being such a big deal, this movie never would have even happened. This is just your job. This is a role. You're a character. It's not about you. Very well said. It's true. It's not about the actors themselves. It's about the character. And yes, the actor being really, really good and bringing that character to life is invaluable. That's what people get excited about. But still, at the end of the day, the character is not you. You are not the character. It's just your job. You still have to have a healthy relationship to your character and keep them separate. So really, at the end of the day, this was quite rude to the fan who made the art. It made her seem ungrateful to fans in general by making such a statement over the poster. And I can see her wanting to make a post about like people saying weird or rude things or AI generated things that are literal lies. But this is fan art. I'm not sure what she was thinking. Came across as really bad diva sorts of behavior, like really overindulgent, self-indulgent, out of touch for sure. This is supposed to be a fun movie. I imagine you would want your audience to have fun and to be excited. That's what will motivate them to help make the movie a success. We've seen in Hollywood, they can pour millions of dollars into a movie. If it flops because it didn't connect with fans and people weren't motivated to go see it, then they lose money and it's not a success. So movies at the end of the day are dependent on people, the audience, being excited, being motivated to spend their money on it, to go and see it, sometimes multiple times if it's really, really good, and buy all the things. Without the fans, your movie will crash. So you want your fans to be excited. You want them to be hype about it. And she sucked the fun right out of it by making fans feel like they cannot participate in the excitement or experience lest they make her angry and get roasted online for it. The vibe, like, fans cannot be inspired by this. They cannot enjoy it unless it's within her boundaries, which means not messing with the poster at all or not messing with her face on anything anywhere. It's so egotistical. I can't even. It was a big mistake. And the PR machine simply worked really, really hard to cover this up with lots of interviews that were very overindulgent and dramatic. It's as if Cynthia and Ariana are like going through all of the press campaigns for this in a really theatrical manner, which isn't exactly translating as well as I think they thought it would. But whatever, it did bury this story pretty quickly. When asked about this, Ariana seemed to take a much more grounded approach to the kerfluffle, stating that she loves Cynthia and understands that fans will make edits and art and be excited, that the movie is so much bigger than them, which, yes, good, that's the right idea, that's the right type of thing. Cynthia should have probably remembered that herself, that this movie is bigger than just her and her face. Moving on to perhaps the biggest, most worrisome controversy around Wicked, in their haste to push out as much merch as possible, someone, well, they probably got fired, or they should be, someone didn't check the website on the back of the toys. A series of Mattel toys were released in stores to buy for sale, and they had the wrong website printed on the back. Not just the wrong website, an adult website. What? I mean, apologies and beyond need to be issued on this potentially traumatizing mistake. It could also be a legal risk for them as well, quite frankly. But it got heavily buried once more by those overly dramatic, intensely theatrical interview clips where they were crying lots of the time and just talking about how amazing each other were and the experience being so intense for them and stuff. Like, it's just a little bit too much, but these PR pieces were pushed out really, really fast and aggressively to occupy the news feed and push out this story of this gross error. The earliest drama, however, to hit the Wicked movie came last year when Ariana Grande and Ethan Slater, two of the actors on the film, who were both married at the time, had an affair with each other and left their marriages to start up a relationship together. Ethan even had a newborn baby and wife whom he divorced. So obviously, the optics of this were not great. People found this rather scandalous. Lucky for them, that was over a year ago now, so the audience has largely let that go. Dust has settled on that. But now that the movie is out, everyone will move on to their complaints of people singing during the movie in the theaters and whether they like the adaptations and performances in the movie. For Mattel, forever shamed. For Ariana and Cynthia, their reputations forever impacted by their PR missteps during this movie and the making of it. Especially Cynthia, because that was a super bizarre reaction. At the end of the day, it'll prove challenging for her to move past the image of an overblown ego, irrationally overreactive sort of look she gave herself with that post. That's going to stick for some time now. I really can't watch their interviews and their, little news bits and their clips of being really into themselves and what they've done and stuff like that without now realizing and seeing it through that post of, oh, this is just some really big overblown egos here at play. That's what this is at the end of the day, is just an ego trip. That's what it all seems like now. That's how it's reading to somebody who's a little bit distant from loving the film and being super excited about the film. I'm not saying it's not going to be a good movie or that people shouldn't be excited for it or that they won't be great in it. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know. But the impressions that she's given somebody who's a little bit more distant, just a general member of the public, is that her ego's a little too big for this, and she really stepped in it with that post. But leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I hope you have a happy day ahead, and I will see you next time. Bye!